Weight of Memory Episode 28. Silenced Airwaves, The Assassination of Thevis Keurigay, 1989. Born, exact birthdate not widely published, but he was 68 years old at the time of his death in 1989, placing his birth around 1921. Joined Radio Ceylon in 1949, becoming a pioneer of Sinhala language programming and one of the first Sinhala announcers at Radio Ceylon, South Asia's oldest radio station. In the golden age of Sri Lankan radio, few voices resonated more deeply than that of Thevis Keurigay. As a trailblazing broadcaster and later a media executive, Guruge helped shape the nation's auditory identity. But on July 23, 1989, his voice was silenced forever, gunned down in broad daylight by suspected insurgents during one of the darkest chapters of Sri Lanka's civil unrest. Born in the early 20th century, Thevis Keurigay became the first Sinhala announcer at Radio Ceylon, South Asia's oldest radio station. Millions tuned in to hear his calm, authoritative voice. He was instrumental in developing Sinhala language programming and later served as director of the Sinhala service at the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC, from 1970 to 1977. In the 1980s, Guruge was appointed chairman of the Independent Television Network, ITN, a state-run broadcaster. His leadership coincided with a period of intense political censorship and media control. Sri Lanka in 1989 was gripped by dual insurgencies, the Tamil separatist war in the north and east, and the second uprising of the Janatha Vimukthi Peramuna, JVP, in the south. The JVP, a Marxist Sinhalese youth movement, opposed the government's authoritarian measures, including media censorship. Guruge, as head of ITN and one of four officials overseeing censorship, became a target. The JVP had reportedly threatened him days before his death. On the morning of July 23, 1989, Guruge left his home in Narayanpeta, Colombo, for a routine walk. As he crossed a bridge on Palhangada Road, gunmen ambushed him. He was shot 5 times with a T-56 assault rifle, dying instantly. The attack was swift and calculated. No suspects were arrested, and the murder remains officially unsolved. However, authorities and observers widely attributed the killing to the JVP's youth wing, retaliating against Guruge's role in enforcing media censorship. Keurigay's funeral was held on July 25, 1989, at Borella Cemetery, attended by colleagues, journalists, and grieving citizens. His death sent shockwaves through the media community, highlighting the vulnerability of journalists and media executives in conflict zones. He was more than a broadcaster, he was a cultural icon, said one colleague. His murder was a message, even the most respected voices were not safe. Keurigay's assassination is part of a grim roll call of Sri Lankan journalists killed during the Civil War, including Premakarthita Alwis, Richard de Zoysa, and Lasantha Wickrematunge. His legacy lives on in the annals of Sri Lankan broadcasting, a reminder of the cost of truth in times of turmoil. Key references. Thevis Keurigay, Wikipedia. This entry provides a comprehensive biography, tracing his rise as the first Sinhala announcer at Radio Ceylon in 1949, his role in shaping Sri Lankan broadcasting, and his appointment as ITN chairman. It confirms that Guruge was assassinated by the JVP while walking near his home in Narayanpeta, Colombo, shot 5 times with a T-56 rifle. Sri Lankan official gunned down. UPI archives. This contemporaneous news report details the circumstances of Keurigay's murder, linking it to his role in enforcing government censorship laws. It notes that he was one of 4 officials overseeing media restrictions and that his killing occurred just before the government was expected to ease those regulations. Luminaries snuffed out by politics. Daily News. This retrospective article places Guruge's death within a broader pattern of politically motivated assassinations of journalists and artists between 1987 and 1993. It argues for greater public recognition of figures like Guruge, whose contributions were overshadowed by political violence.